Hey, I'm Harry Mays, and I know the Eagles fans are disappointed that there's no 2 seed and 2 home games, but I still see a path to the NFC Championship where the Eagles play the Rams at home.
I'm Jason Martinez, and this season, it's no longer about what has happened. It's only about what is going to happen.
And I'm Marc Farzetta, and Nick Sirianni had the cojones to look everyone in the eye and say, yes, the Eagles have found their identity. Liar! All that and more on this edition of Locked On Eagles Squad Show.
Fly, Eagles, fly. It's the Eagles Squad. Everything Philadelphia Eagles every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the city of brotherly love. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Eagles Squad Show starting now.
And welcome into Locked On Eagles Squad Show. This particular episode is brought to you by the fantastic people at FanDuel. I want to be right in the middle of the action. You want to be right in the middle of the action all postseason long. So check out FanDuel.com to place your NFL live bets throughout the NFL playoffs. Gentlemen, I listened to Nick Sirianni today, and he beat around the bush with identity. Well, because I hate myself, Jason. That's why. And I just I'm a glutton for punishment. And but every once in a while, there's a little nugget that gets dropped in there. You're like, wait, what? I'm sorry, what was that? And we're gonna get into that little nugget today because he was beating around the bush of identity, and then finally, I think he even knew he was about to lie, and then he just lied. So we'll get into that. We're gonna get into expectations because I don't know where the fans have them. Like, I think people are eternally optimistic, and then I also think people are doom and gloom. Like, I'm hearing it from both sides here.
Yeah.
Patullo's future, we'll get into that because you know what's really funny about the coaching firings and the coaching interviews and the request to speak to different coordinators and everything. So far, Kevin Patullo, nothing.
Right.
That phone is still very much on the hook. Vic Fangio versus Kyle Shanahan, which is really the only matchup I'm really looking at coming up this weekend. And then just week 18 lessons, because there's one thing that I actually did learn. No. 2 things I learned. One negative thing, one very positive thing that I learned about week 18, or from week 18, I should say. But let's start it off with this. Harry, I believe you were hot on the trail of this a couple of weeks ago when we talked about the Eagles' defense being the identity. Would you say right now, Harry, that's the Eagles' identity?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it certainly isn't their running game. It certainly isn't their offensive line, which it was for so many years, which was really the hallmark, dating way back to the old Andy Reid years is where that really started, and they kept that going, and that produced a terrific running game that the quarterback could lean on. The quarterback would run periodically, which really put the defense on edge, not really knowing who to commit to. In the backfield, we don't see that a whole heck of a lot anymore. So it's the defense and really special teams too. I'll throw that in there too, because this team has blocked so many extra points and field goals, and the punter is absolutely terrific in changing field position or pinning teams deep in their own end, which if you've got a great defense, that's going to help set up your offense, around midfield many a times, giving you a short field. And believe me, this team offensively needs as many short fields as they can find.
I 100% agree. Jason, identity, defense for this Philadelphia Eagles team?
Yeah, I mean, where's Nick Sirianni been? Like, what took you so long, Holmes? You could have listened to the Locked On Eagles Squad Show postgame show on November 10th, and Harry would have given your identity then. Yeah, because that's a fact. Because Harry proclaimed it then.
Yeah.
On November 10th when they came back from the bye and they did what they did against the Packers. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where Nick Sirianni's been. Maybe he's been on Neptune, but the squad show hasn't been on Neptune because Harry identified it. And Harry's a football man, but he's not an NFL coach.
No.
If he can identify this, and he was drinking still then.
Right. I'm clear now.
Yeah, he's clear-headed now. He would have found it in September.
I'm clear. 7 straight days.
Yes. Which stick taps to Harry for that.
Right.
But not everybody makes it that long. But the fact that it's easy to see, but it's hard for this coach to see because he can't fathom the identity not being on the offensive side.
Maybe if I can see your identity, you don't really have an identity, Jason.
You
Remember
need to
back to
change
the old
identities.
days? Yeah.
It goes right
If
back.
Harry
to,
can see it, do something different.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
well, it
here's-
goes back to the days when somebody had to tell Harry, you guys need to do this on the show because I know trust me, I know what I'm doing. And Harry said, if you have to tell me you know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So,
Understood.
yeah, I think he's absolutely right. And, I mean, the thing about it is this, like you guys said, Harry said you got to shorten the field. Yeah, you really do. The Eagles are good at one thing offensively. That's execution in the red zone. So shorten the field to 20 yards or less. Can that be a thing?
I'd be in favor.
Yeah.
So here's why I think Nick Sirianni was lying through his teeth in his press conference today. Jeff McClain. Oh, and if you think it was great, Jason, that I was watching that, I went back to 2023 and watched the Eagles take on Robert Saleh's Jets just to see if I could pick up a thing or two. I'll start at the end. I
Wow.
didn't. But anyway,
No
there's a
problem.
couple. Just
A Wings game on Friday. You got to do the PA for.
yeah, I'll be like, by the way, in 2020, Wings goal scored by. Did you see Robert Saleh blitz 17 times? All right. Anyway, thank you for shouting out the Wings. So Nick Sirianni is addressing the media today, and Jeff McClain asked him about how do you balance. The question was, how do you balance what you want to do and what you game plan for versus reacting in the moment? It's a really complicated way to, like, I don't know how you can answer that question easy. But Nick Sirianni says, well, basically, you got to stay true to your identity. You got to do what your identity says you are, and you got to make sure that you're doing that very well, and you got to execute, and blah, blah, blah. And he goes on talking about identity, but he never says what the identity
What it is. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's just pause right there. If you're talking about your identity, don't you think you would kind of either just come out and say it, which most likely you're not just going to come out and say it, but you're at least going to hint at what your identity is and maybe give a little tidbit of information about it. He doesn't do that. He keeps it extremely vague, extremely general. And then Jeff McClain, being the crackbeat reporter that he is, he looks at Nick Sirianni and he says, do you think you've determined what your identity is? So now he's trapped.
Great.
Now he's in the corner. Okay.
Boxed in.
Great.
Because what coach who's about to go into the playoffs is going to be like, don't know what the identity is? No, he's not. He just looks him straight in the eyes and he just goes, "Oh yeah, I know what our identity is, and we're going to go into make sure we do what our identity is, and with that identity, we're going to be identified for what our identity is." Like what? Like he just started talking in circles because he knew he couldn't get out of it. And like I said, no coach is going to go into that postseason run, or any postseason run, and go, "Yeah, I don't really know what our identity is." So I'll say this: we all know it's negative, right? But it's the only identity this team truly has, because it hasn't been the run game. Harry, as you mentioned earlier, Jason, as sure as hell hasn't been the offense. The defense is the identity of this football team, which is why the number one thing I'm looking at in this game has nothing to do with what Nakobe Dean does healthy or Zach Bond does healthy against Christian McCaffrey, or what Nakobe Dean could do better against George Kittle, or how they get to Brock Purdy. It's all about the mad scientists, Vic Fangio and Kyle Shanahan, sitting in their laboratories trying to figure out how to out-scheme the other. That's the only thing, because those are the identities as far as I'm concerned. The defensive pass rush of the 49ers is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the NFL. And then you're also looking at the other side of the football there for their offense, talking about a team that could just put up points in the blink of an eye. That, to me, is going to be the ultimate test of the Eagles' true identity, Jason, which obviously is their defense, with Nick Sirianni still trying to crack the code on how their offense is going to truly get going.
Yeah, I mean, with identity in sport, it's an important thing. And when you're at the midway point of a season, if you don't have a really keen thumb on what your identity is, and identity has to be developed organically. You can't just deem something your identity because you want that to be your identity. Right. It has to happen organically.
Like giving yourself a nickname.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do that. So
T-bone.
You have to find out what your identity is. And it changes year to year, and that's okay, because it's a different chemistry, it's a different group, it's a different set of circumstances. But to sit there and look like a deer in the headlights when you're asked about identity heading into the playoffs after 18 regular season weeks and 17 games is a bit alarming. And it's a bit alarming that, we paint their identity with such a broad brush too. Defense, like that's a really kind of innocuous identity. We're going to look back at this year. If it were to end now, and we'd say the defense is what carried them. But the good news is that a whole new identity, a whole new narrative can be formed in the playoffs. The regular season can become just the vehicle that got you to what matters, which is the playoffs. And if this offense performs in the playoffs, we may say that, hey, the identity of this team was on the big stage again. Jalen Hurts stepped up as an MVP, and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley in the offensive, if all those things happen. But identity is something that has to happen organically. Like, you got to build it, whether that's, a resiliency as an offense. You're a team that never quits because you come back in fourth quarters. Your identity can be that you're slow starting, but you finish strong, whatever it might be. But if it leads to success, that's what it'll be in the end, based on the playoffs, not based on this regular season. So I think if I was Nick Sirianni, if I was the coach of this team, and I was talking to my offensive side of the ball, I would be preaching that. I would be going in and saying, guys, it does not matter what happened this regular season at all. We're here now, and all that matters is what's in front of us. We have to learn from what happened in this regular season, not repeat it, or we're not going to repeat. So I would just message forward with this team and not, kind of dwell on what's happened in this regular season. I would just do everything I could to ensure that it's not going to happen in the postseason. That, if I put my coach hat on, that's where I go.
Well, it would be nice to see this offensive coordinator somehow be able to take advantage of an absolutely decimated core of linebackers with this San Francisco 49ers team. Their room is injured beyond belief. Like, they're not only down people, the guys that they're putting out there have injuries. They activated Eric Kendricks, the former brother of one of our former players who actually played some good years with the Minnesota Vikings. They activated him from the practice squad this week because they're so banged up. Fred Warner is not going to return until next week, if at all. So that he's been down most of the season. And if you can't figure out a way to isolate Saquon Barkley, a Dallas Goedert, somebody on some of these linebackers, and take advantage of this, then you absolutely should not even show up for the next game. If there is one.
Linebacker room is like Dumb and Dumber. Like, our pets' heads are falling off the walls. Yeah. Like, it's a mess.
They lost Tatum Bethune last week, and he's not very good, but he was at least serviceable for them. He's out now for the rest of the season. Yeah.
If you can't do it against this linebacker group this week, you just aren't capable.
Right.
Period.
Because the other guy, Shanahan, if that was the case with the Eagles, he'd be spending the whole week and have 5 or 6 different plays that he would just constantly run the whole night and just take advantage of. I mean, he'd isolate this guy on that guy and kill you. That's how you do it.
He's a surgeon.
Yeah.
And this, for the last couple of weeks, we have seen, I should say the last 4 weeks, we've seen Dallas Goedert be more part of the Eagles' game plan. We've seen less of Saquon Barkley as part of the Eagles' game plan when it comes to the passing game, which, by the way, he's pretty damn good at.
He is. Yeah. Aside from the drop-in against Atlanta last year, he's pretty darn good.
Exactly. Right? People will still mention that. I get that. But damn, he is still a playmaker. And if you can't get the ball in a playmaker's hand, then you're not doing the job as an offensive coordinator.
No.
And one of the things that was so worrisome about, of all the things so worrisome about that second half against the Buffalo Bills, you don't even get a target for Saquon Barkley. Like, there's one moment in the 8 dropbacks in the second half against the Buffalo Bills. One moment where I go, oop, that's on Jalen. That's a Jalen mistake. But Saquon was open, and that was when they were backed up against their own goal line. They did the tush push.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jalen ended up rolling to his right, but he rolled into pressure despite having a clean pocket with only 3 pass rushers and a wide open Saquon Barkley in the flat. Like, that's an opportunity where you just get the ball to Saquon. And if you can't get anything downfield, just look for the short routes. You had one guy to beat. All right, one guy to beat. That needs to be coached in terms of, hey, we got nothing else going on right now. Let's just stay close to the line of scrimmage. To both use guys' point, when it comes to having a short field, acting like you're in the red zone the entire time. Saquon Barkley's right there. I think Dallas Goedert in this game, based on how their linebacker room is, Harry, as you just pointed out, and Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley have to be a huge piece of this game plan to keep this offense on the field, keep your defense off the field. Oh, and then do the thing also that really helps, move the ball downfield and get touchdowns. That's two things that I have rarely seen in the Eagles offense really over the last 2 weeks that they have yet to really get going to show that they could do that with consistency. That's my problem.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, they can set the stage for this entire playoff run in a great matchup in the first game with a depleted defense that's not great to get the offense confident and moving. And then maybe you can it's like surfing. You can catch a wave and you can ride it through the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. Like Foles did in the second week in 2017. He wasn't good in the first game against Atlanta, but beyond that, he was obviously very good. So you hope that's what can happen. And if it doesn't happen this week, it's only going to get harder, and it's not going to happen because it's never going to happen under Kevin Patullo. But this week, I totally agree with Harry. I think it's huge to have a really good offensive week.
And I know Christian McCaffrey's terrific. If they have Trent Williams, they're a different team. If not, I mean, this should be a walkover in my view. But if they have him, they've got a chance. But the thing is their wide receiver group is not fast. They have no speed at that position. So they're gonna activate this guy Jacob Cowing this week, who was actually like a mid-round draft pick. I don't know if it was this year or last year, from Arizona. He's a burner. He's like 5'8", 5'9". Has very little experience at the pro level outside of maybe preseason games, but they're probably going to – they started his practice window, opened it up, and I think the intent is to have him available this week to give them some sort of a stretch kind of guy that can get down the field and maybe give them some way of making an explosive play. Because other than McCaffrey, getting a pass and breaking a tackle, getting in space – or doing it via the run game. They don't have a whole – well, Kittle can give them a little explosion down the seam, but they don't have a whole lot at wide receiver.
No,
possession guys.
Yeah, and you think Kyle Shanahan will figure out a way to use a really speedy guy? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I do.
It must be nice to have that confidence to be like, oh, what's this guy do well? Let's have him do it. Wow, what's that like? You know what I mean? Yeah. By the way, while we're talking about the opponents and all that stuff, so there's a possibility, obviously, you play the Bears down the line. Possibility. Okay. We all went in and talked about whether or not you should play the starters on Sunday. And I know it's been a conversation that's been beat to death. But since we last spoke, Ben Johnson, head coach of the Chicago Bears, could be obviously interpreted as a dig and a shot at the Eagles, saying some people don't play their starters. We play football.
Ooh.
I
don't even know why he did that. I think it was
wow. Well, this guy's like pissed. That. He popped off against Green Bay when he first got the job. Took a shot at their head coach. I kind of like this guy.
We like it from a media standpoint. Dumb from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, he takes his shirt off in the locker room, right? This is the guy that takes his shirt off in the locker room and does his high school chant with his team.
Yeah.
He's off his rocker, man.
He is off his rocker.
He needs to realize he's not a player anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's fun from afar. If he were our coach, I'd be ripping him for stuff like that. But from 1,000 miles away, it's hilarious.
I never thought I'd use a defense. I never thought I'd use a defense for Nick Sirianni. Like, hey, he keeps his shirt on.
Right.
People.
Yes.
He might reference his D3 college numbers, but he keeps his shirt on.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He might yell at fans, but he keeps his shirt on. But anyway, no, he's off his rocker, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And what he says, like, he's not lying.
Right.
Yeah, some teams rest their starters. We play football. I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Oh, and then here's the other thing. He's pretty smart when it comes to football offenses. Mm-hmm. He knows how to scheme guys open. He knows how to get creative in the backfield.
He's a good trick play guy. Yeah.
Even before you even get to the idea of maybe even a gadget or trick, like, he's just good at deception.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, you think the left hook is coming? Here comes the right, that kind of thing. So I credit him for that. I do. Credit him for that.
I do too. And I'm glad you brought that up, Farzy. The only thing I will say to Ben is you might want to have your team show up before the fourth quarter, because that was 13-0 at halftime. And if the Eagles were playing their starters for the first half against Washington, and maybe build up a nice 2-touchdown lead. And then you look at, wow, Detroit's up 13-0. Maybe we can start pulling the guys now in the second half, and you could have cruised to a victory. But Chicago showed up in the fourth quarter and made that one hell of a football game. I was watching both at the same time.
Yeah, we play our start. You should be more concerned that you played your starters and it took them for the fourth quarter to pull into the stadium.
Yeah, which has kind of been sort of their MO. They get off to really slow starts, the Bears, and then all of a sudden they're like the cardiac Bears. They're like in the fourth quarter, 4 minutes to go, you look up and the game's tied.
Yeah, that's scary, though, in the playoffs too, right?
It is. Because
that's a team. Is that an indication that they wear you down? You know what I mean? And in the playoffs, that could be a big thing. So, yeah.
Well, we'll worry about them next week.
Yeah, we'll worry about the Bears if they get there.
There you go. Yeah, and we'll all just take our shirts off in the stands and be like, "What's up? What's up?" All the people that would travel, unfortunately, to Chicago.
Farzy, I would go to Chicago with you if you said you would take your shirt off. I would go and do it with you.
Harry, why wait?
That
just
is
kidding.
Not true. That is not true.
But I'm not drinking.
Yes, that's why that is not true.
If we go to my favorite bar in Chicago, Pippin's, man, we'll have nothing to do with Scottie Pippen.
If it was Tampa or some warm location, I can buy what Harry's saying because he can get around the golf in. But when it's Chicago in January, I am not buying that Harry's going there to take his shirt off, especially when he's not drinking.
I'll tell you one thing real quick that blew my mind about Chicago going to Soldier Field. People tailgating on their boats.
Oh yeah,
on the lake.
Just like it was like one of those things that your mind just can't compute. You know what you're looking at, but you've just never seen it before. So in my mind, I'm like picturing people tailgate on the Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
like I'm like, wait, what? How is this? What? And
I did the boat ride on Lake Michigan.
Oh, did you? Okay.
When I was out there in 2010 for the Cup final, me and the old lady.
Okay.
Did one of those boat rides on the lake, and you can see Soldier Field right from the lake.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah.
People with brats.
That and the White Sox Stadium, I think, is on the water, right?
No, the White Sox Stadium's in a bad neighborhood in South Side.
Southsiders?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. All right, when we come back.
Whiskey Field.
What are the expectations? We'll get into that conversation when it comes to Eagles fans. Let us know in the chat as well. What are your expectations for the Philadelphia Eagles in the postseason? A one and done? A deep run? Let us know. We'll break it down when we come back. This is Locked On Eagles Squad Show.
All righty. Let me tell you about Ultimate QB. Oh, yeah. Wow. Football season. It's been grinding all season long. We're through the regular season, which means draft pick positions are set for a lot of teams. And a lot of those teams, if you don't have the franchise QB, what are you doing? You're looking for the franchise QB. There's two statuses of NFL teams. You have it or you don't. And when you don't, you're looking. Ever wish to become a pro QB? Getting drafted in the first overall by, say, the Locked On Eagles Squad Show team? Well, now you can. There's a mobile game just for you. It's called Ultimate QB Football Legend. Now, in this game, you step into the cleats of a number one draft pick quarterback. It's your job to lead your team to greatness, to help turn a failing franchise into a dynasty. So all the things that you've been claiming over the years or your knowledge or blah, 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 you're the one on the line. This is the number one QB career mode game on the mobile app stores, and it introduces the most realistic environment for full career control. You sign contracts, you train, you upgrade yourself, you build chemistry, and you evolve your teammates to give you input to your GM for roster moves, play the actual games in 2D, and you rise through the ranks to become a pro football legend. Or maybe you don't. Not all of them do. You'll deal with the ups and downs of a QB career, from rookie nerves to playoff drama, and every choice that will shape your journey. That sounds really interesting. Ultimate QB is totally free to play, has no ads, and works 100% offline. Perfect for when you want to sneak in a quick game or two when you're on the go. Maybe you're headed to the airport waiting on a flight, or you just got some time to burn in between meetings. Ultimate QB is going to really fill that time with a lot of fun. So do yourself a favor. Head over to ultimate-qb.com. That's ultimate-qb.com. Or just search for Ultimate QB in your app store. And something special for you guys. How about this? Use the promo code LOCKEDON, all caps, in the game store to get a free boost at the start of your career. Again, the code is LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, Get it in the for the free boost in the App Store and get your career off the ground. Ultimate QB, football legend, QB1. It is your legacy.
Welcome back, Locked On Eagles Squad Show. Jason Martinez, Harry Mays, Marc Farzetta with you. What are the expectations, gentlemen? Because I have heard both sides of the spectrum here. They got this, which, for the record, don't believe. And I will admit I've heard less than. And the other is one and done. Whereabouts are the Eagles? Strong feelings on the expectations heading into the postseason. Jason, I'll start with you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I don't weigh in heavy on either side. It's kind of wait and see because I don't know what they're going to be. You can make the case for each side. You can go, well, we've got 17 games of data that say that this offense has been a bit of not a bit, but it's been, frankly, a mess this season, whether it's only playing a half or whatever it is, the pedestrian nature in which they scheme at times, most of the time. Or you can go, well, there's a lot of playoff battle guys in there, and there's a lot of pride in Jalen Hurts, and these guys won the Super Bowl last year, and they know what it takes this time of year. So where are they in this? Are they somewhere in between these two things? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have a good finger on the pulse of what's going to happen this week, let alone an entire playoff run.
Barry, you want the next fight?
They'll win this week? Yeah.
Okay. You feel confident this week?
Yeah, because it's the 49ers and, the 40-winers, and I don't think that they're very good. And they got to travel all the way across the country.
Well, they are good when they're healthy.
Yeah, but they're not, right?
Yeah, right.
To your point.
Yeah.
So, but could I see this team fizzling out and finding a way to lose the game? Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think they're one and done. Okay, let's
okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Be very clear with that. I like their chances of going on the road in Chicago too, because I have to believe that Vic Fangio, his unit was emasculated when they played the Bears a month and a half ago, whatever it was now, with two running backs going for over 100 yards. I don't think that's going to happen again, and I just have to believe that at some point this defense is going to make Caleb Williams, who I think is absolutely terrific and will be an absolutely terrific quarterback within over the next 5, 6, 7 years in Chicago. I like what I see with him, but this is different when you start playing Super Bowl champion, defending Super Bowl champions, the second go-round. I don't even care if it's at home or not because the weather's not going to bother this team. I don't think that's an advantage for the Bears, and I see them beating the Bears and getting to the NFC Championship game, and we'll go from there.
Oh, okay. So I will say that is one of the more optimistic. I know you're being real, but I'm just saying one of the more optimistic takes I've heard. I'm close to where you're at.
Okay.
Now, here's what I said. If I'm being real, I'm not looking at this team as a Super Bowl repeat team. I'm not you don't have the struggles. Could things fall into place where, oh wow, they got this matchup, then fine, and I'm good with it. But it's tough to look at this team with some of the opponents they've played against this year and the way they've played consistently, which is to say they've been wildly inconsistent. The old joke of they're consistent, consistently bad, or consistently inconsistent, whatever. Like for me, last year they had the greatest force in the NFL and one of the greatest forces in the history of the NFL when you consider the season that Saquon Barkley had.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nice thing to be able to default to when maybe your game plan didn't work out. Like, for instance, the trouble they had scoring in the first quarter last year. Well, after you said, well, our preparation was terrible, just give it to Barkley, and then they'd have a good game,
That was their identity, and they could fall back on that identity, and he would deliver.
Yeah,
the offensive line would deliver. Yeah. Yep.
Time and time again. This year they don't have that. They're not able to impose their will. And speaking of optimistic points of view, I've heard from people throughout the year like maybe they're just not showing all their cards because they're just going to the playoffs. And it's like that's what you say in the preseason. That's what I heard in the preseason. Now we're going to say that for 17 games? Really? And then Kevin Patullo gets asked about it yesterday during his press conference when he's asked about, hey, how do you guys really flip that switch, in other words, before the playoff starts? And he's like, yeah, I think during the season, this is what he said, during the season, you're just trying to win football games. And more or less in the playoffs, you're really trying to control football games. That
Ooh.
control isn't something I've seen throughout the year. And that's what he was implying when he answered the question. I'd like to see the Eagles control these games. I can't be convinced after watching this product this year that they're going to make it back to the Super Bowl. I agree. I see them winning against the 49ers. We'll see where the chips fall in after that. But once they get up there to an NFC conference championship game, maybe even after they play the 49ers here and they get to the divisional round, I don't see how this team is good enough to consistently have an offense that can get them over the hump. Their defense is going to have to limit teams to 13 points, 17 points consistently in order for them to have that shot at winning.
I got them winning this one 20-16.
You're in the 20-16 range? Yeah. So
I'd like to see more points in that, Harry, against this defense.
Yeah. I start out there, Harry. I'm where you're at when I started thinking about this game, because you talk about consistency, but then you also think about the fact that somehow for 5 weeks Brock Purdy is cooked. I know he's got a stinger, and they're waiting to see what his health looks like.
He'll be all
the
right.
rest of the week. I'm sure he'll be fine, and he'll be playing in this game. But I look at this offense, and I see an offense that had been cooking up until they played the Seahawks. The Eagles are going to have to score points. Kyle Shanahan, like a good game for Vic Fangio, you know, the old bend but don't break, Jim Johnson, allow 17 points and let your defense cook after that. This might be the type of game where it's a 21-point game or a 24-point game for the 49ers. The Eagles are going to have to score 25 points in this game. So that's how I see this potentially playing out, where they're going to have to put up points in order to have that control in the fourth quarter and make you feel good that they are not going to be just a one-and-done football team.
Yeah, I kind of look at it and go, I mean, we're doing predictions early now all of a sudden, but
No, I just threw that.
No, we're where we're at right now.
Yeah, but where I am right now, like I think the Eagles score 24 or more points because I think that the defense ends up getting them a touchdown. So I think the offense gets them 17, but you get another one from the defense. I think they're going to somebody's going to pick Brock Purdy off and take it back, or force a fumble that turns into a touchdown, something.
The weather's going to be good, so it won't be a detriment for the Niners. Because it's
really warm, Harry.
It's going to be in the 40s, maybe even low 50s.
Yeah, that's warm for this time. I mean, Saturday's going to be 61 degrees.
I'm going out and playing golf after this show's over.
I was just going to say.
I was waiting all day to get a text that we weren't doing the show today because you were going to get in 36.
I'm a professional.
There you go.
Yeah,
you made it to excellence.
Yeah.
So here's what the Eagles offense has to go against. And I knew they were bad. I didn't know they were this bad. The pass rush of the San Francisco 49ers, they have 20 sacks on the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fewest in the NFL.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, their pressure percentage, all right? 26.7. 26% of the time they're actually able to drum up some pressure. That is second worst in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you're telling me this, although I didn't support resting starters in Week 18, you're telling me this when you had an extra week for Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens. Lane Johnson hasn't played
A month.
No, yeah, it's been like over a month that he hasn't played. And Jordan Mailata also had a week off.
Mm-hmm.
No
Okay.
excuses. There's no excuses.
No excuses.
None.
No excuses whatsoever. Oh, and like we already did the game plan for Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni. They're going to be throwing to Saquon Barkley and Dallas Goedert close to the line of scrimmage anyway. So you won't even need to have the ball in your hand that long anyway. So
and involve AJ Brown.
Exactly. And these are things, and these are things that I'd like to see exploited sooner rather than later for this Eagles team.
Frankly, if they can't do it this week, then we should have no faith that they're all going to suddenly flip this switch and figure that out. The offensive line should be dominant this week. Frankly, here it is. Jalen Hurts shouldn't have to take a shower after the game. You know what I mean? He should be sitting back there just chucking it around like he's in the backyard.
You realize it's Robert Saleh over here. He has made chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what all season long.
I know. But look, all the money that's allocated on this offensive side of the ball and how dominant they were a year ago, I know that 1 year's not the same, but they should be able to sum it up this week and look much better than they have all season long, considering everything, and considering home field too, and all of the experience they have on the big stage of the playoffs. If they can't do it this week, they're not going to do it. So this is a very important game. Well, I don't think any of us feel like threatened that they're going to go one and done. It's important. The way it looks this week may be just as important.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'll give you. So going back and watching 2023 Jets-Eagles, the game that the Eagles lost. Just stay with me here. No,
I hear Jets. I just hear Jets any year, and I'm out.
I blanch.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever gone back to watch a Jets game. Maybe whatever what Super Bowl was it? It wasn't Super Bowl 1.
Super Bowl 3.
Super Bowl 3. Joe Namath, right?
Yeah. 3.
Maybe 3. Maybe that's the only one I've gone back and looked at. But they were asking Patullo about like whether or not he could get anything out of the 2023 matchup, because obviously he was on the coaching staff. It was Robert Saleh, but Saleh wasn't the play caller defensively. He was the head coach, but it was still his scheme and all that. One thing that did stick out, believe it or not, and this is why it doesn't apply too much to this, Bryce Huff got 2 sacks in that game.
Oh, wow.
One was on Jordan Mailata. The second one was on Jordan Mailata. The first one, Jack Driscoll. It was on Jack Driscoll, okay? That's who the second one was on. But the only thing that really sticks out to me about that game that I want to be aware of in this one is after that game, I can't remember the guy's first name, but Adams was his last name. He got the interception on Jalen Hurts to set up what was the game-winning touchdown and 2-point conversion for the Jets. After the game, he's doing an interview. And they're like, hey, what'd you see on that interception that helped set up the game-winning touchdown? And he said, my coaches told me to just get to the line of scrimmage against Jalen Hurts pre-snap, and then once it's snapped, start backpedaling, and he'll put the ball in your chest. Okay?
Ooh, okay.
Tony
That's
Adams,
exact.
by the way.
That's exact. Tony Adams. Was that it? Tony Adams.
I beat out of Illinois.
Like a zone blitz kind of thing, or
Yeah. Well, it's
simulated
exactly,
pressure.
I shouldn't say exactly, because the Chargers game where the defensive tackle dropped back, that's a DT. You're expecting a DT to be on the line.
Right.
You're expecting, you don't know what a corner or a safety is going to end up doing. So, but it reminded me of that. Show blitz, show that you're going to attack, and then drop back. And if you drop back on the hash marks, you just might get that ball on your chest. It's exactly what happened in that. So there's something that Robert Saleh understands. There's moments there where you could fool, of course, Jalen Hurts pre-snap. I think breaking the huddle earlier than they have, allowing Jalen Hurts to really survey the field, really determine whether or not that guy's coming or whether or not that guy's going to drop back into coverage, I think will help things tremendously. But that's really the only thing I take away from that game, other than don't turn the football over, because there were a bevy of bad turnovers in that game besides Jalen Hurts' second interception.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing I take, is that there's something Robert Saleh just knows about Jalen Hurts that I think a lot of other coaches know, but they're able to execute it under Saleh and force him into those mistakes.
Maybe if Jalen was about 4 or 5 yards closer to the line of scrimmage under center, he could determine that a little better. I don't know, because they ran a couple of plays under center and were very successful. And I'm like, why don't we go back to a few more of those?
That is evil, wicked sorcery, Harry, that you're talking about right there. So how dare you come up with concepts that are just no one can wrap their minds around.
I don't know, man.
When we come back, I do want to talk a little bit more about Kevin Patullo and what his future is, because I don't understand how anyone can look at this guy and be like, I know who I want as my next head coach, Kevin Patullo. We'll talk about that when we return. This is Locked On Eagles Squad Show on the Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Back after this.
All righty, let me tell you about Zocdoc. Finding a doctor you actually like can believe me, I've been to enough doctor's appointments in the last year, over 100 now. Finding that doctor you like, trust, and you have that comfortability with can be like finding the diamond in the rough. You want someone in network, nearby, and available. It's a lot of things. But you also want a doctor who really listens, makes you feel comfortable, explains things clearly, and helps you walk out feeling confident about your next steps. Your diamond in the rough doctor exists, and finding them is a lot easier than you think, and you can do it with Zocdoc. Now, Zocdoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality, in-network doctors so you can choose someone you actually connect with. Now, you can search for specialty doctors for a specific ailment you're dealing with, or you can search via symptoms, which would have been really helpful for me when I had all these symptoms. I was trying to figure out what was going on and quickly find the right fit. And you'll be able to choose in-person or video telehealth visits to make scheduling way easier. That's a very widely accepted thing right now. You can check verified patient reviews to get a real sense of the doctor's vibe and communication style. Look, some doctors have that, what they call bedside manner. And some people don't want good bedside. They just want Give me the hard facts. Tell me what I got to do, what I'm dealing with. Boom. Do it that way. The real-time availability means you can book instantly. No phone tag. Appointments usually happen within 24 to 72 hours. That is quick. And they can even have same-day openings. That's really quick. If you needed to book care fast, if you need to do that, this is the fast place to go and the first place to go. It just makes the process simple. So here's what you got to do. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments. It's the one thing I have talked about ad nauseum since I put off my symptoms for so long. Go to Zocdoc.com/LockedOnNFL, and you'll find and instantly book a doctor you love today. Again, it's based on what you prefer. That's ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL. Zocdoc.com/LockedOnNFL. And thanks to Zocdoc for sponsoring this very important message.
Little bedside manner.
I like it.
Harry, I know for a fact, docs don't need to come in with fluff with you.
No.
Tell me exactly what I'm doing. Don't give me all this. Well, blah, blah, blah. No. Tell me. Just tell me, Doc.
Yeah.
How long
getting
I
out
got?
of here?
Yeah.
All right.
How long I got?
Picture this. You're in the hospital. Kevin Patullo walks in the white coat. What do you do?
Oh,
Throw myself out the window?
Oh, my God.
Doc, I'll save you the trouble. Whoa!
Yeah.
There you go.
Save the medication and care.
Wow.
I am checking out.
All right. It should be no surprise to anyone. Now, the reason I bring this up is because weeks ago, there was a smear campaign around Jalen Hurts and how great the Eagles coaching staff was and how terrible Jalen Hurts was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our good friend, my good friend, Derek Gunn got information from inside the Eagles locker room, or sorry, I shouldn't say locker room, inside the Eagles facility.
Mm-hmm.
Diana Rossini got information from inside the Eagles facility.
Very similar information.
Very similar information about how great the Eagles scheme was and how terrible Jalen Hurts is. Anybody banging that drum for Kevin Patullo right now? Has Kevin Patullo gotten any phone calls? Has he been any Adam Schefter tweets? Ian Rappaport releasing to the world?
I did notice during this, week 17 or week 18 game, the 17th game against Washington, Ross Tucker, who I like, who does all the preseason stuff and knows the deep end of the roster. He's the perfect guy to actually have for that game when there's a lot of backups playing. Was basically, I think, told to be a marketing agent for Tanner McKee because there were several things that he said. I wrote them down. McKee's ball always comes out on time, and it comes out on time with touch. And I found that very interesting for a backup quarterback who has hardly played. And then he went on to say that Tanner McKee really likes it under center. And I'm thinking, that's interesting. Like, did you notice that?
I did not,
Mark, because I know Jason did when we did the post game.
First thing I brought up.
Yeah,
I'm so disappointed in myself.
I thought he was his agent.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to go Drew Rosenhaus. Next question. Because, he was on a marketing campaign for this guy. Because, it comes out of his hand with touch. Well, I'm not seeing that today.
Yeah. Right.
I didn't see a lot of touch.
Well,
I saw some happy feet.
He's behind a second-string offensive line that was god-awful.
Yeah, but it's to your point, Harry.
Yeah.
He was describing things about the quarterback that weren't happening on that day.
Yeah.
And because he was told this is a message we'd like to have out there.
That's what I thought. Now, is that plausible, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would like to have the job, and I'm a big fan of Ross Tucker as well.
Me too.
But I also know office politics.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it screams of, don't I do a great job, Eagles? Like, aren't I doing great? And look,
they signed a paycheck for him in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So what did make me raise my eyebrows at one point, and I laughed at first, and I went, that's interesting. And it was exactly what you guys were talking about, because at some point during the broadcast, Ross Tucker even said, there's really no better specialist on Eagles backups than me. And I forget who was doing Kevin Harlan. Thank you.
Yeah.
He just laughed. And I'm like, no, that's funny because he does the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. And then that's when my eyebrows went, that's what interesting. And then things started to make a little bit more sense when I heard more compliments. And then I went, he really likes that preseason gig of having the 4 or the 3 preseason games
Guaranteed
With Scotty
paycheck.
Graham, right?
with Scotty Graham.
Yeah.
And then usually by the 4th quarter of game 2, they're just doing like Tommy Boy references.
Yes.
But I know that's wildly specific, but true.
yeah.
But I will say this. I don't think it's anything where the Eagles are like pulling Ross into a dark room or meeting him in a
Doesn't work
parking
like that.
garage and telling him, yeah, right. I think Ross is just around the team and knows what they like. But-
I can speak to this firsthand because I work for a team. I get
Okay.
paychecks from a team, and I have never had anybody in the Flyers organization tell me we want you to put this out there.
Right.
Like people put it out there all the time. Oh, Martinez floated it. It's a trial balloon so the team can see how it's received by the fans. First of all, when you're a manager of a team, you don't give a crap what the fans think because the moment you start trying to please them, you sitting with them. You know what I mean? You have to do what you think is best and have the conviction in your assessment of your abilities. Number one. But that being said, Ross is no fool. You have meetings before a game as a broadcaster, and you hear what they're saying, and they're saying these things. They're not telling you to say it, but you're also smart enough to know, hey, this is a message that of what they're thinking.
This is what these
they're
guys
saying.
think of this player. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
They're saying this
Yeah.
stuff to me for a reason. I am a conduit
Right.
to a guy.
I found
So
it
a lot-
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
times, like I'll say
is.
something. Hey, this is what they're saying. This isn't maybe necessarily what I believe,
Right.
but this is what they're saying. But I always tell people too: never listen to what a team says. Look at what they do. Don't go by the assessment they tell you of a player. Look how they use the player.
Right.
That's more truthful,
Right.
right? So, but yeah, I mean, that definitely happens. There's no doubt about it. That's to me, that's how those messages get planted into a broadcast.
Yeah. That's a good point. The one thing I will say though, is they do. I know of situations where they clearly want something out there. They're not pulling anybody into a room, but they might be saying it in front of somebody. Just saying, this is how we feel about it, and maybe
Power
sometimes there's
suggestion.
motivation. Yeah, and exactly, and manipulation a little bit. And the other part of it too is it could be, and this was even Derek Gunn said this about his report regarding Jalen Hurts. Maybe it's a warning shot, like, hey, dude, get it together and do what we're saying. Otherwise, we got Tanner McKee, that kind of thing, which that leverage took a big hit last week.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you say that, Harry, about the little things that Ross Tucker was dropping in there. I'm going to go back. I am going to listen to that because
They're breadcrumbs.
They're the little breadcrumbs, exactly. However, with the way the game ended, good luck with those breadcrumbs.
Right.
You're going to need a whole loaf every 2 feet for people to follow that trail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's the key. There's two things. One is you always got to receive information like that and realize there's an agenda behind it. There's always an agenda behind information that gets out. Number one. Number two is it's very key for the culture of any team that the information that is being out there and being said has already been said behind closed doors. That is key. The player can't hear like these things coming from credible sources for the first time via the media. It has to have happened to him. He has to have heard that already. Otherwise, you get mutiny in that room because you can't message through the media first. That can come eventually, but it better not be first. Players have a real big problem with that because they always want that honesty of knowing where they stand. Because I will tell you, like pro athletes, you guys have seen this because we've been behind the curtain for a long time. There is a lot of insecurity in athletes in pro sports because their job's on the line all the time. So I get it. Like a lot of times we, as fans, we see them and we see the millions of dollars and the lifestyle and this and can I have your autograph? You're great. Can I have a picture? But they don't realize that there's a ton of insecurity there because they're constantly being attacked for that elite position they have, which they get paid handsomely for.
Yeah. But you talk about don't listen to what they say about a player. Watch the way they use them.
Yeah.
That Seattle team, they don't trust Sam Darnold on 3rd and longs.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't. There's handoffs going on 3rd and long.
It's
3rd and
very
8,
telling,
3rd
isn't
and
it,
9.
Harry?
Yeah, it is. He turned the ball over 7 times in the 2 games against the Rams. and they split.
Ooh, yeah, that's too
Yeah,
much.
7 times.
7 times.
That's why I
Nick.
think the Rams are going up there and beating them.
What you know? What's interesting about that, Harry?
Hmm.
Is I got the email, and I'm sure you guys did yesterday from our friend Jimmy Shapiro,
Yeah,
that the guy that's got the best odds to be the Super Bowl MVP,
it's Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
I know. Yeah, I'm fading that.
Yep. 14. I think it was like 13-2.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Jalen Hurts was 14-1 to be the Super Bowl MVP. Repeat as it. I think maybe your odds go down a little bit when you won it the year before too.
Yeah.
But I mean, QBs are always obviously the favorite.
Yeah.
But they like Seattle to get to the Super Bowl. That's what that tells me. And they like
guess.
Seattle to win the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl winning quarterback usually gets the MVP.
Real quick, before we get off this topic, I do want to ask this question real quick. Is there any way, if the Eagles are a 1-and-done or even a 2-and-done, Kevin Patullo is back as the offensive coordinator of Philadelphia Eagles?
I don't think so.
Not as the offensive coordinator. Maybe they, reshuffle the
Just the
deck
head
and
coach?
put him, somewhere in the staff. I don't know.
Has anyone ever gone
Quality
from OC
control
to
coach, Harry.
quality?
Yeah,
I was just gonna-
quality control.
Has anyone ever gone down that?
Yeah.
Biggest pork belly job there is.
He'd be the guy that tells Sirianni when to challenge.
He checks the headsets before the game.
Right.
Pencil
Testing.
broken. Do you
want me to
run the Staples?
He comes out, puts all the headsets on the sideline. They get him on and up in the booth with an intern. He goes, "Is this thing on? Radio check." And they go,
Yeah.
"Clear. Go to the next one."
I'd be good
All
at
right,
that.
headset 3B. Radio check. Clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's your new job. Quality control.
Amazon can't get Post-its here until tomorrow. You just want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll run this
All right.
While you're down there, why don't you
No, Harry. Harry,
what?
we're not going there.
I didn't.
Tim's a friend.
I know. He's a friend of mine.
He got killed on Stern yesterday.
Did he?
15 minutes.
Was he on Stern?
No.
Or did they just talk?
The audio
about it?
was.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good for him.
I told him. I said, your Q rating's never been higher.
Yeah, absolutely.
I told him too. I said, Tim, I should have screenshotted this and sent it to you. I saw it on Reddit. Guy says, I always thought Tim Saunders was a dork.
Yeah.
Until now.
Right.
Now I see he's one of the boys. I like him more.
Exactly.
Oh, one of the boys.
I'm done for the
boys
show,
are
boys.
killing 'em.
I'm out.
Yeah,
No, all right. I gotta do a read now. Guy,
Oh,
drop that on
jeez.
me. All right.
The boys may have had shirts made, Harry.
Oh, is that right?
Please tell me they did.
Some information's not supposed to.
Get one.
Some information.
Yeah.
I don't want that
got
message
one on
out
order,
there.
Harry?
I don't
Yeah.
want that message out there. All right.
Jesus.
Back after this. Harry Mays with a KO shot on
FanDuel.
I got it. FanDuel, ladies and gentlemen. FanDuel's fantastic. Oh, my goodness. Are you taking advantage of what FanDuel has to offer? If not, what are you waiting for here? It's FanDuel we're talking about. Wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game, FanDuel gets users a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to bet. Oh, how fantastic is that? Multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets, like most bets like this. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply for. Also, boosts that let you lean into the game day instincts that you have as a smart, educated fan, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. You can see what boosts you want to apply to your bet. Boosts give you more juice on the bet you already like instead of forcing you to bet on something new. Make your picks, then apply for the profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel.com, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day, every NFL playoff game day at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com.
Wow.
Just like that. Just like that. I got it. I nailed it.
Yes.
It. As a matter of fact. Anyway.
Hey, real quick, kind of on that
Go
real
for
quick.
it. Go for it.
Yeah, I was at the Flyers Ducks game last night. Like the environment was crazy, just because of the Cutter Gauthier thing and team playing good, whatever. But I imagine that environment Sunday afternoon, like games at 4:25 Sunday.
Yeah, 4:30. Yeah,
is going to be pretty bonkers. Like that's going to be wild down there. Like the vibe going on at that stadium, Super Bowl champion starting the playoff run to try and repeat.
Oh hell yeah!
It's going to be electric down there, and
I
I don't
hope
like going
so.
to NFL games because I think the game's so good on TV.
Yeah. It's
But-
a TV show to me, the NFL.
Yeah, me too. They do just such a good job presenting it.
Yeah.
They nailed it.
And but this is one of those ones where I go, like maybe I should pop on the Gametime app and go down, like as a fan.
No, you can't because you got to do the post game with me. Okay.
God damn.
Yeah.
It's not getting any wild ideas, Jason. You got to
Exactly.
work, man. You're not like
we
me
were
where you
done
can
after
drive
the
an ice
regular
cream
season,
truck.
Harry.
Yeah.
Nice sign a contract for the playoffs.
I don't know. I am surprised though that they put New England and the Chargers in
Me too.
the night seat on Sunday.
Well, it is L.A. and Boston markets, so they're huge markets. But does that game have as much teeth as San Francisco, Philadelphia? I don't know.
No, it doesn't, or really
Two newcomers,
Chicago, Green Bay, in my estimation. But
Real quick, while we're on that a little bit,
I can tell you. Let me just tell you why they did that game.
go ahead.
Oh wait, no. Never mind. I thought it was it's obviously not with in LA. I thought the way you said
No,
it,
it's
I
in
thought
New
it
but
was-
Al
England,
Michaels
yeah.
didn't want to leave L.A.
Boom. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Exactly what I was gonna say.
Don't think that doesn't go into consideration from time to time.
Yeah.
Right.
How shocked were you guys about John Harbaugh?
Not shocked. Not totally
No?
shocked. No.
I
The team
look at
started
the
out
quarterback and I go,
1-5, man. They had an expectation to win the Super Bowl. Started out 1-5. Okay, don't
Yeah.
blame the kicker. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw your tweet, Harry, about somebody. I think it was you that put out the tweet about. They said the same thing about Andy Reid.
Yeah.
You
Well, Tony Dungy's saying how he's
exactly.
apoplectic as to how they could let this guy go and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, I heard the same cries when they let Reid go. Had Brian Billick on the show saying exactly this: "You may find another coach, but you won't find a better coach." And it's like, okay, I think everything turned out good for both sides eventually.
I think they're okay.
That's
Yeah.
a coaching fraternity thing. You take a blood oath. They prick
Oh
your finger,
God, yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah, I was a little
gotta say
surprised
that.
that it happened after the way the season went for the Ravens, that they did have a little bit of a rallying or rally, obviously. And if you make that field goal, you're talking about something totally different, but ifs and nuts, right?
Yeah,
So,
maybe Tomlin's
ifs and
fired.
buts, rather. Yeah,
Maybe
right,
Tomlin's
right.
fired. Yeah.
Exactly. So I wasn't shocked, but I did start to think like Harbaugh's got to win another. He's got to win another one, right, to keep this job going. You got to at least get back to one, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the clock
how
was
long
kind
was
of
he
ticking
there?
in my mind. 18 years.
18 years.
Holy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so
Yeah.
long.
Here's how little.
They're sort of like
here's-
Pittsburgh in the way they treat coach. They don't
Yeah.
really just, they don't go
Yeah, they
through
don't burn through
coaches.
them.
Yeah.
The one thing that concerns me is that he ends up as the Giants coach.
Exactly. I would not want to
That's
see
why
that.
I brought it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not want to see that.
Yeah,
I would
good luck digging out of that one. That's all I
Yeah.
gotta say.
Yeah.
Here's all right. Two things just from Week 18. One, the Eagles have to literally win the Super Bowl in a blowout for me to ever think it was a good idea to rest the starters in Week 18. Okay, lose their energy throughout. But here's two things I did pick up. I'll give you the negative one first, so we end on a positive note. Number one, the backup corners are worse than we thought.
Oh,
They are
Dorian Bennett shot.
Ja'Cory Bennett
Unbelievably
cannot
terrible.
not grab you. It's unbelievable.
terrible.
Yeah.
And Ringo,
Yeah.
oh, Louis boy.
Louise.
Oh,
Got the football IQ of a plant. Oh my goodness! Just
seriously.
The Ringo turnaround, like, I'm going to stop the ball carrier. Nah. All right, back to the end zone. Like, that is terrible.
That meme
the
is
other part
horrible.
of it is that Ja'Cory Bennett was, yeah, totally. Ja'Cory Bennett a couple of times was in position, but I guess just needed a hug. I don't know. It was terrible. So it's like, just turn around, dude. Just turn around, put your hands in the air. Read the receiver's eyes.
Yeah.
That was the negative. The second, I agree that the offensive line was not good, Harry. I agree.
Mhm.
But here's one thing I definitely learned. Drew Kendall can block. I don't know how good he is at calling protections or whatever. Apparently not that good, but he could throw himself in the way of some guys. He had Deron Payne pinned up like again and out of the way a number of times throughout. So I don't know if he's just struggling reading protection or moving protection or whatever. But he looks like a guy that could be a little bit of a project, but I think has upside. I will say that.
Okay.
Just one thing going back.
Is that the guy from Boston College that they drafted this last draft? Yeah.
That's exactly who it is. That's a guy that I know they tried out at guard as well. His dad played in the NFL for a long time, like 13 seasons, I think. That's one thing that was intriguing going back and watching that game. But yeah.
What about the big tackle that they activated and put in there that they drafted? Was it
Williams?
Yes, I think it was Williams.
Not great.
Okay.
He had a couple of nice pancakes, it looked like, while watching the game live. But on the film, it's like, oh no, you need to seal that off, my friend. And a lot of times it wasn't. I mean, as you said earlier, the offensive line wasn't great, but I'm talking about one specific thing for Drew Kendall.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, the block, like watching Jacorian Bennett. Okay, you know why he didn't play. Very simple.
Right.
On a much lesser scale, it's like you see the talent there with Drew Kendall in terms of being able to block men, not college boys, but men.
Yeah.
It's like, is the mental aspect of that just not there for him yet? That kind of thing.
So there's hope for him. There's hope.
I think there's hope for him, especially. I know he's a Pro Bowler, but Cam Jurgens has not had the best of years. I think we can all admit to that. And I know he's been banged up too. I don't just think all of a sudden he sucks. Yeah. So cross my fingers. All right. Fellas, I know you'll be back at it. We're both feeling a win. We're all feeling a win. You both are feeling a win. I'm feeling a win. All right. You guys will have the post-game responsibilities after the 4:30 kickoff against the 49ers on Sunday afternoon, early evening. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Locked On Eagles YouTube channel, where Louis DiBiase has it covered each and every day for Locked On Eagles. We got you covered. Locked On Eagles Squad Show. Jason, Harry got you guys covered. Louis joining you for that post-game, do you know?
I think so.
Better.
There you go. Lock it in with Locked On Luigi. Like and subscribe, Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. We'll see you guys. I know you guys will see everybody Sunday. Be back with you guys next week as well. Until then, go Birds.